If you're someone who prefers styling their natural hair as a protective hairstyle rather than making braids or adding extensions to their hair, do you know you can still reach your hair goals and still retain the length you want? All these steps I'm going to be showing you in this video so you can do that with your hair. So when it comes to retaining length, I know most people would be like you should keep your hair in protective hairstyles, whether it's doing braids or extensions or just your natural hair just being itself. But just having your hair made and left alone is like a common advice you would find from everywhere. I'm not going to tell you that what I see everywhere. Actually, for length, it works. Well, for me, this is also something I've done and it worked. Like keeping your hair for longer periods, you get to retain more length. So there are other ways you can also retain length. If you're not interested in making braids or twists, when it comes to retaining length, you should understand that keeping your ends protected because they are the oldest part of your hair and they break off easily and not retaining them. They have to like give them all the love and tender care because they are the weakest part of your hair. And if they are breaking off, you're not going to retain length. And also having a good routine and reducing manipulation on your hair is literally the thing you need to do for your hair to actually grow. You would see your hair retain too much length, reduce manipulation, and trust me, your hair is going to grow. If you over manipulate your hair is going to be under tension. It will cause breakage. Like having healthy hair, you have to have a routine. You have to stick to your routine. It's important you stick to your routine. Your hair, if your hair is left dry, don't manipulate your hair when it's dry. Always make sure you're going with your water. The first thing I want to talk about in growing your hair is stretching your hair. There are so many ways to stretch your hair that requires heat and no heat. And the one that requires no heat is the African threading method or doing twist. I tried this out, and guys, my hair actually stretched out. This is very common back in the days, but yeah, it's a very good protective hairstyle that can actually grow your hair, and you see lots of length, guys. So yeah, it reduces single strand knots, like all those knots you get on your hair when you do African threading. You're not going to see anything like that. Your hair is in a coily state because of how coily your hair is. It can get matted and all. By doing this protective hairstyle, you actually reduce tension. So another way I styled my hair is high puff. Like this is like I'm sure everybody natural hair starter pack. Every natural hair girly has done this hairstyle, which is the high puff. It's very common here in Nigeria. And yeah, and also another hairstyle that I can actually try is this boohoo method. But in this case, I used my hair and then added extension. I just crocheted the extension to my hair, and guys, this was a banger. Like everyone I went to, they're like, "Oh my god, I love your hair." So yeah, this is another way in which you can style your hair, which is a slick bond. So you can also do this hairstyle without the gel, but here I use my Eco Styler gel to like pack my hair up. And guys, my hair was protected and I didn't get any knots. So yeah, it's important you do this. So while I sleep, I always mat my hair, like put in a twist. Another way in which I styled my hair was doing this high puff, but yeah, with a twist. I brought out some what they call it, bangs at the side. Guys, this hairstyle was super amazing. Like if you've tried this hairstyle, I'd like to hear from you in the comment section. And yeah, I would love to hear ways in which you actually stretch your hair without heat, because we're all about healthy hair over here. We don't use heat here. So yeah, so another heatless way in stretching your hair is blow drying your hair. Like in this case, you're not using too much of your hair, you're just drying it out with a hair dryer, but you're not putting too much heat on your hair. And also when you're putting it on your hair, always go with your heat protectant so your hair doesn't get stretched out and burnt out. So it's important, and you do use it in the lowest level of the heat so that it doesn't burn out your hair. So yeah, there are alternative ways in which you can stretch your hair, whether it's the African threading method, the twist style, the braid out. Those are some ways in which you can actually stretch your hair without using heat, because heat damage is very real, guys, and over time you would actually break your hair, and at some point you have to cut it off. I would say African threading, your hair will actually stretch out and you see lots of growth. I recommend silk bond with a twist, just so that your ends are protected and they're not out in everywhere. When I'm doing my natural hair, but I decided I don't want to like leave out my hair, I found cute ways to keep my ends protected by twisting the ponytail or just twisting my natural hair before I sleep. So yeah, it's important that even if you're doing protective hairstyles, your ends are protected, guys. It's very important, especially when you're going to sleep. Always going with your bonnet or you sleep with your sleek scalp. It's important you do this. So yeah, so this is a low tension hairstyle. Like when you're going to bend, don't make your buns too tight because you can get headache just by having too tight hair. That when your hair is tight, it's not a protective hairstyle anymore. You're just destroying your hair. So it's important you don't make tight hair. So another way I'm going to talk about is very important is that you should always wash your hair once every 2 weeks. You need to have a good routine, and moisture routine is very important. When it comes to healthy hair, natural hair, I would say washing your hair, deep conditioning your hair. Deep conditioning is very important if you're a natural hair girly. You have to deep condition your hair after every wash day. It's important you do this so that just to revive your hair and give it all the love it needs. So yeah, when I deep condition my hair, I put in the product and I go in with my heat scarf just so that the product can get into my hair and it can do the work it's supposed to do. And yeah, once I'm done doing my deep conditioning, I always go in my moisture routine. So my moisture routine is the basic one. I do the LOC method, which is liquid, oil, and cream. So basically, my liquid is water, and then my oils, I use the Jamaican castor oil. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it on my channel. So yeah, that oil is a very thick oil, so it seals in the moisture. Like if you have high porosity hair and you're trying to like seal in moisture for days, I'll definitely recommend you using the Jamaican castor oil. So once you've used the Jamaican castor oil, you apply it to your edges. It's also good for edges because it actually grew my edges. Like before, I had very scanty hair on my edges, but by using the Jamaican castor oil, I was able to grow my edges. I got thicker hair. Like you can also make your hair darker if you have like brown hair. Your hair is not like black. It actually darkens your hair over the long run when you use it for a while. So yeah, the next thing I go in with is my cream, which is my shea butter. So shea butter is a very thick butter, which is made here in Nigeria, or you can see it anywhere. If you go to a supermarket, just ask them about shea butter. It's a very thick butter that seals in moisture. And when you're applying it, apply it to the length of your hair, not your scalp, because if you're applying to your scalp, it's going to clog up your scalp and thereby preventing growth. So it's important you apply it to the length of your hair. And guys, you can use the slip method, which is you putting your hand as if you're praying and just dragging out your hair. Like it seals it into the brim. Like you won't see any form of water in your hair. Like it dries, seals in that moisture. So it's important to use that method. And guys, if you tried the LOC method and it worked for you, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. Like tell me what's your moisture routine like, what you've done to your hair that is actually working. And yeah, if you've done any of my hairstyles, my protective hairstyles that is working for you, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. So when it comes to natural hair, moisture routine is very important, and make sure your hair is not dry. Like just keep it in your mind that dry hair breaks. Make sure your hair is moisturized, because when your hair is moisturized, the tendency of it breaking is very little and you get more growth. I've said this thing before, take your hair as a plant. Plants thrive better when there's water, so you watering your hair is like giving it life. You're making it more lively and thereby improving hair growth. So it's important you always wet your hair before you manipulate it. Manipulate it. So another stage in my routine I love to talk about is my oils. Like having a good form of oil in your hair is very important because it reduces tangles, manipulation, tension. Just by putting your hair like in a stretch method, which I've showed you guys, I'd love to hear from you. What method have you tried to stretch out your hair that actually worked for you? For me, African threading worked for me very well. Like I was able to see my hair in its most stretched form using my African threading, which you can those the thread I use is like rubber bands. It's very popular. Just go to like any supermarket and ask them about threads. You want to buy thread for your hair. So I use this to stretch out my hair, and guys, the growth I saw in my hair, if you keep this for like 1 month, guys, you see a lot of growth. It's important you do this. So if you're trying to stretch out your hair without heat, African threading is your go-to. If you want to reduce tangles, manipulation, tension, just put your hair like back. Once you're done doing your hair, your protective hairstyle, make sure you pack it in a bond, and guys, you're going to see that your hair is going to grow. And also, once your hair is in a protective hairstyle, make sure you're doing your routine. You're not just leaving your hair like that. You have to do your wash days. Your wash days are very important. Your moisture routines are very important. And also when you're sleeping, the way you take care of your hair, make sure you don't sleep with your hair just like that, because you have all the products in your hair. You just sleep with your hair on your bed sheet. Your products are definitely going to transfer from your hair to your bed. Thereby, it can make the water in your hair to dry off. So it's important to sleep with a bonnet or a silk scarf, especially when you just recently put products on your hair. It's important to use your bonnet and your silk scarf. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.